What if the stories you heard as a child were not just stories? What if they were instructions, warnings, maps, disguised as fairy tales to hide them from those who should not understand? This is the story of a grandmother who told her granddaughter tales of spirits and rivers, of trees that walked and stones that sang. She thought she was preserving the old ways. She didn't know that her granddaughter would one day follow the map. And she didn't know that the sacred site she was protecting was not a sanctuary, it was a prison.
She thought it was a sanctuary. It was a prison.
Temwa grew up on her grandmother's stories. Every night, before sleep, Mamle would tell her tales of the old country, of the river of forgotten voices, where the dead whispered their secrets, of the dancing stones, that moved only when the moon was blind, of the tree of hanging roots, whose branches grew into the earth instead of the sky. Temwa loved these stories. They were her inheritance, her comfort, her connection to a past that seemed more magical than real. When Mamle died, Temwa was 22. She inherited the old woman's hut, her cooking pots, her wooden staff. And she inherited a leather-bound journal she had never seen before. Inside were the stories, written in Mamle's shaky hand. But there were also notes in the margins. Coordinates. Sketches of constellations. Phrases in a language Temwa did not recognize. She began to see patterns. The river of forgotten voices was not a river, it was a path. The dancing stones were not stones. They were markers. The tree of hanging roots was not a tree, it was a door. Mamle's bedtime stories were maps. And Temwa was determined to follow them. Temwa spent months decoding her grandmother's journal. She consulted linguists, historians, elders from neighboring villages. Slowly, she pieced together the location of the sacred site, a place called Nsuda, hidden deep in the forest of whispers, a place the locals avoided. They said the trees there remembered things that should not be remembered. Temwa was not deterred. She was a journalist, trained to seek truth, to uncover secrets. She convinced her younger brother, Mandla, to accompany her. Mandla was skeptical but loyal. He loved their grandmother too. They drove to the edge of the forest, then walked for 2 days. The trees grew denser, the light dimmer. The air smelled of wet earth and something else, something like old incense, like prayers left unanswered. On the 3rd day, they found the clearing. It was exactly as Mamle had described, a circle of flat stones, a single baobab tree with roots that rose from the earth like grasping fingers, and a pool of water so still it reflected the sky even though no sky was visible through the canopy. In the center of the pool, something glowed, a faint, pulsing light, like a heartbeat. Temwa knelt, reached into the water, and pulled out a stone. It was smooth, warm, and engraved with symbols that matched the ones in her grandmother's journal. The moment her fingers closed around it, the ground trembled. The pool's reflection shattered. And from the darkness between the trees, something whispered. "Welcome, Keeper's child. We have waited so long." Mandla grabbed Temwa's arm. "We need to leave. Now." But Temwa could not move. The stone was warm, pulsing, and it seemed to be speaking to her, not in words, but in memories. She saw her grandmother as a young woman, standing in this same clearing, crying. She saw elders in white robes, chanting, placing the stone in the pool. She saw a shadow, something vast and formless, pressing against a barrier that glowed with the same light as the stone. The stone was not a treasure. It was a lock. And she had just broken it. She turned to run, but the trees had changed. The path they had followed was gone. In its place, a maze of roots and thorns, closing in around them. The whispering grew louder. "You opened the door. Now you must close it. Or we will help you close it, from the other side." Temwa and Mandla spent the night in the clearing, huddled together, watching the pool. The light beneath the water grew brighter, then dimmed, then brightened again, like a creature breathing. The whispers became voices, fragments of conversations, prayers, curses, all in the old language Mamle had used in her stories. Temwa began to understand them. She was supposed to guard it, not to reveal it. The keeper failed. Now we rise. Temwa realized the truth. Her grandmother had not been telling stories to entertain her. She had been warning her. The maps were not invitations, they were warnings. The sacred site was a prison for something the ancestors had trapped long ago. And Mamle was the last keeper, tasked with ensuring the prison remained sealed. But Mamle had grown old. She had forgotten her duty. Or perhaps she had grown lonely, and telling the stories was her way of passing on the knowledge, hoping someone would understand without actually going there. She had miscalculated. Temwa took the stone, walked to the pool, and tried to put it back. The water pushed back. The stone would not sink. The lock would not re-engage. A figure emerged from the trees, not human, but shaped like one. It was tall, thin, its skin the color of bark, its eyes the color of the pool's light. It smiled. The keeper's child. You have come. We have been waiting for a new vessel. The old one is too weak. Temwa stepped back. What do you want? We want to be remembered. We were gods once. Then your ancestors trapped us here, in this place between worlds. They fed us stories, memories, prayers. That was our food. But your grandmother stopped feeding us. She told only stories, no offerings. We grew hungry. Now you are here. You will feed us. Feed you how? With your stories. Your memories. Your dreams. Every night, you will dream of us. And every night, we will take a little more. Until you become like the tree, rooted, silent, a vessel for our voices. Mandla screamed, Temwa, run. But she could not run. The roots had already begun to wrap around her ankles. Temwa looked at her brother, at the terror in his eyes, and made a decision. She threw the stone to him. Take it. Run. Get it back to the village. Bury it where the elders will find it. Mandla caught the stone, stumbled, and ran. The roots tried to grab him, but he was fast. He had always been fast. He disappeared into the trees, and the forest seemed to part for him, as if it remembered that he was not the one it wanted. The bark-skinned figure turned to Temwa. He will not save you. He will only delay your fate. Temwa stood straight, her ankles already bound. Then let's get it over with. The figure laughed, a sound like branches cracking. You have courage. We will enjoy feeding on that most of all. Mandla ran for hours, through the maze of trees, guided by something he did not understand, perhaps the stone in his hand, perhaps his sister's sacrifice. He burst out of the forest at dawn, collapsed on the road, and was found by a passing farmer. He told the village elders what had happened. They took the stone, wrapped it in white cloth, and buried it beneath the sacred baobab in the center of the village. They performed rituals, chanted the old prayers, and sealed the lock as best they could. But the door had been opened. The barrier was weakened. Temwa did not return. The village sent search parties, but the forest of whispers would not let them pass. The trees grew thicker, the paths shifted, and the whispers drove them back. Months later, Mandla went alone. He found the clearing. The pool was dark. The stone was gone. And in the center, where the baobab's roots had once risen, there was now a figure, half woman, half tree, her skin the color of bark, her eyes glowing with the same pale light. She opened her mouth, and her grandmother's voice came out. Mandla. You should not have come back. The forest remembers you. but it will not keep you. Go. Tell the village to guard the stone. And tell them, I am not suffering. I am the new keeper. The spirits feed on me now, not on the land. It is enough. Mandla wept. He reached for her, but his hands passed through her like mist. He returned to the village and told the story. The elders built a shrine around the buried stone, and every full moon, they left offerings of food and drink, hoping to satisfy the spirit's hunger. But sometimes, late at night, the villagers hear a voice on the wind, Temwa's voice, singing the lullabies their grandmother used to sing. And they know that she is still there, still watching, still holding back the darkness with her own stolen dreams. Temwa learned that some stories are not meant to be decoded. That the past is sometimes hidden for a reason. And that the greatest love is not the one that seeks truth, it is the one that protects others from it. Her grandmother told her tales to preserve a memory, not to guide a journey. But Temwa, curious and brave, followed the map anyway. Now she is the map, a living warning, rooted at the heart of the forest, feeding the hunger of forgotten gods so that her people can sleep in peace. But what do you think? Was Temwa a victim of her own curiosity, or did she fulfill her grandmother's unspoken duty? Should Mamle have destroyed the stories instead of passing them down? And what would you do if the bedtime stories you loved as a child turned out to be a trap? Let me know in the comments below. The forest still whispers. The stone still waits. And somewhere, a tree woman sings lullabies to children who cannot hear her. If tales of hidden knowledge and its terrible costs haunt you, you cannot miss the blacksmith who forged a blade that could only be wielded by the pure of heart. The link is on the screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe for more original, chilling tales from the Safari of Tales. We listen to the old stories so you don't have to. Until next time, be careful what you try to find. The map might be looking for you.